Welcome, everyone. This is Suzanne Shirley from the Freedom Team, and we are starting Chapter 2 of John Maxwell's The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, and this is the Law of Awareness. And I'm so glad that you were able to join us tonight. We are going to dig right in. The Law of Awareness is you must know yourself to grow yourself. If you want to grow, you have to know who you are, where you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and much more, actually. No one can produce great things who is not thoroughly sincere in dealing with themselves, says James Russell Lowell. And there are some quotes in this book that are just absolutely really amazing. John Maxwell talks about the story of the 50 First Dates. And in that movie, and I think a lot of us have seen it, it's a famous comedy movie where the man loses his short-term memory and all he can remember is long-term things, like things that happened way in the past. So he can't remember who he talked to today. He can't remember what he read, if he read the newspaper, any kind of interesting thing that he learned. He can't remember what he ate for dinner. And how can you expect to grow if you don't have short-term memory? The guy was kind of seemed to be in a prison because of that, and he was unable to learn, unable to grow, unable to change, and that's quite a tragedy, and he just points that out. And just thinking about that personally for myself, I'm like, what a horrible thing it would be to lose your short-term memory because you cannot grow. If all you can do is live in the past, you can't grow. There's no way you can do that. So John directs us immediately to discover and ask ourselves if we have a sense of direction. You got to know yourself. Do you have a sense of direction? Any sort of sense of direction? Do you know yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your interests, your opportunities? You've got to be able to gauge not only where you've been, but also where you are now. Otherwise, you can't set a course for where you want to go. It's like the person who's in debt. They've got to know what their income is, what their debt is in all cases. They've got to analyze it. They've got to put it on paper. If they want to get out of debt, they have to have an action plan. They've got to know exactly where they are now if they're going to make a plan to get where they're going to go. A lot of people that are in debt don't even know how much debt they have accrued. A lot of people that are in debt don't even know what their monthly bills are. They just get by all the time. So you've got to take an inventory and know where you're at, so that you can figure out where you want to go. That's the only way to gain traction, to keep improving yourself. What you learn today builds on yesterday. So yesterday builds on today, which builds on tomorrow. It's like accumulation. There's three kinds of people, according to John Maxwell. Number one, people who don't know what they would like to do. They don't have a clue. People who know what they would like to do but don't do it. And then people who know what they would like to do and then they do it. So let's briefly go over the three. The ones who don't know what they would like to do literally are dabbling around in things. They drift from one thing to the other. And honestly, most of the people in this world are in category one. They just don't know what they would like to do. They're existing. People in category two, that they know what they would like to do, but they're not doing it. They're just completely paralyzed by fear. They're just also not willing to pay the price to learn or grow or move closer to where they want to be. And that happens in this business. You have people that start. I've seen it all the time. You have people that start and think that you think they're going to be amazing and that they have this incredible potential, but then they quit even after a year's time or a year and a half's time because they just don't want to do the hard work of personal growth and development. I've seen it a lot. I could go off on that, but I'm not. Other times, fear prevents them from changing their course to pursue their passion. That's a tragedy, to see what's out there and available for you, but the person just allows their fears and their lack of desire to change and grow into the person that God designed them to be, the best version of themselves. So they just settle and they stay right where they're at. People who know what they would like to do and they actually do it, they're actually the people that are fulfilled. They possess a strong passion. They're focused on their purpose in life, and they grow in all areas that help them move towards that purpose. So that fulfills their lives. So like I said, most people seem to fall in category one, where they don't even know what they'd like to do. and they don't even know themselves as well as they should. And when Woodrow Wilson, which was a former American president of ours way back in the day, he gave a commencement address at Princeton before he was elected president, and he said this, which is so amazing. We live in an age disturbed, confused, bewildered, afraid of its own forces, in search not merely of its road, but even of its direction. That's so sad. There are many voices of counsel, but few voices of vision. There is much excitement and feverish activity, but yet concert of thought, but little concert of thoughtful purpose. Lots of activity, lots of excitement, but little concert of thoughtful purpose. We are distressed by our undirected energies and do so many things. So we have all this energy and we're doing all these different things. We do all this stuff, but what are we doing that's actually productive, taking us in the direction that we really want to go? But nothing we do for very long. And it is our duty to find ourselves, according to him. And it's kind of a catch-22. You have to know who you are to grow into your potential. But you have to grow in order to know who you are. So that's the catch-22. And what's the solution? Explore yourself as you explore your growth. So, some of you might not completely know who exactly you are and where you actually want to go. So you start to discover who you are, and you start to reflect on yourself, and you start to look into who exactly you are and where you are in your growth process as you start to pursue your passions. The way you start to pay attention is to, like he says in the next sentence, pursue your passions. Okay, so there are 8 questions that we have to answer, and the first 4 questions deal with figuring out who you are, knowing yourself, and the last 4 define your actual game plan. So, okay, psychotherapist Daniel Brandon asserts that the first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. So, question 1, do you like what you're doing now? Do you like what you're doing now? That's a good question. I could go off about my own situation and where I was in my career before. There were certain aspects that I loved about teaching, but I certainly was discontent. My spirit was very, very discontent, and I felt like I was trapped in a position where I could not get out of it. There was no way to move beyond where I was in my particular position in my career. There was no way I could earn more money or have a higher position or have more purpose in what I was doing. I just seemed very trapped. So the solution for me was finding plexus, and that became my plan A instead of moving up into the university level trying to become a professor. That used to be my plan A. Now it's way on the back burner. I don't know if I'll ever pick that up again. Plexus is my plan A. Teaching is definitely not even on the agenda now. Philosopher Abraham Kaplan noted, if, as Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living, so the unlived life is worth examining. That's interesting. If you're not enjoying what you're doing for a living, you need to take a nice long time to examine why. Is it a risk? It's a risk of making a change, but there's 2 things right here. You might fail. You might not find out. You might find out that you don't like it as much as you expected it, and you might not make as much money. But you also have a great risk of regretting not going down the road to pursue your dreams. So you have to decide which of the 2 things are you going to be okay with. Fear of failure and maybe not having it turn out the way you planned, or the fear of ending up with a life full of regret when you never pursued your dreams. You have to decide which one you're willing to deal with. So that's number 1. Do you like what you're doing now? Number 2, what would you like to do? What would you like to do? TV journalist Maria Bartiromo says, every successful person I've met has a strong sense of his or her unique abilities and aspirations. They're leaders in their own lives, and they dare to pursue their dreams on their own terms. So when you tap into your passion, you're living in the E&E factor, which is called energy and excellence. What is the E&E factor, energy and excellence? You'll never fulfill your destiny doing the work that you despise. Passion gives you an advantage over others because one person with passion is greater than 99 who have only an interest, right? Think about the man with passion. He's going to outdo, outplay, outlast the 99% who are just have an interest in something, right? And then passion gives you energy that helps you pursue your passions. So why would anyone want to quit doing what he or she loves? Nothing's work unless you'd rather be doing something else. You want to know when I'll retire, says John Maxwell? When I die. And I would love to agree with him. I don't ever want to quit working. I don't want to ever just sit back and say I've arrived and I don't need to pursue my dreams anymore. And I just need to hang out and just enjoy life. Because you know what? That is not a life that's fulfilling. He says that he wants to always speak and write books. And I think that's an amazing thing. In other words, he wants to add value to other people. So listen to your heart. Pay attention to what you love doing. And I love what Thomas Friedman said, a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. He said, so whatever you plan to do, whether you plan to travel the world next year, go to graduate school, join the workforce, or take some time off to think, don't just listen to your head. Don't just listen to your head. Listen to your heart. It's the best career counselor there is. Do what you really love to do. And if you don't know quite what that is yet, well, keep searching. Because if you find it, you'll bring that something extra in your work that will help ensure that you will not be automated and outsourced. So you've got to have that passion. When you discover it, you're going to tap into something that's going to give you longevity. So it will help make you an untouchable radiologist, an untouchable engineer, or an untouchable teacher, whatever profession it may be. If you never figure out what you want to do, you'll probably be frustrated for your whole entire life. And can you imagine how many people live like that? John Maxwell said, most people live in that first category where they just never figure out what they want and they don't ever try to figure it out. Knowing yourself and what you want to do is one of the most important things you'll ever do in this life. Okay, so question 3, remember the first 4 were to ask who you are and the last 4 were to define your game plan. So question 3, can you do what you want to do? So in other words, do you have the skill to do it? You're not going to say, well, hey, I want to go out and be an NBA player and you're a 46-year-old man. It's too late to go and try to be an NBA player. I mean, it's just too late. You've got to do some evaluation to decide, do you actually have the skills and the availability to become what it is that you want to do? So put your dream to the test. This is a book. It's called Put Your Dream to the Test. You must have some kind of criteria for knowing if the desire you have matches the abilities that you possess. So Warren Bennis always asks in his book, do you know the difference between what you want and what you're good at? Do you know the difference between what you want and what you're good at? Okay. Question 2, do you know what drives you and what gives you satisfaction? All right. And he says, most importantly here, when what motivates you lines up with what satisfies you, oh boy, that's a powerful combination. The next thing, the third thing he says is, do you know what your values and priorities are and what your organization's values and priorities are? That's something worthwhile to ask yourself. If you and your employer, for example, are at odds, in other words, you have cross purposes, then success will be very difficult to achieve and you are going to be extremely frustrated. Have you ever thought about any situation in your life where you've worked for someone that has a vision that's something that you did not agree with at all, or a majority of it that you just didn't align with, you just didn't, it didn't mesh with you, it didn't align with your personal purpose in life, and it made you feel like you were always off kilter, you were always off, and you never felt like you could accomplish your mission. If there were to be a mission, it wouldn't be something that you would want to do. I certainly have felt that in my life. And a lot of the time it depended on the person that ran the school that I taught at. You know, if their vision was not in line with my vision, then it would be very difficult for me to carry off my purposes outside of my classroom. My classroom was the limited scope where I could influence my students, but outside of the classroom, I felt like I was completely cut off. And teachers, you know, most people in life, teachers, not just teachers, but most people want to become more than who they really are. They want to find out if they can become a better version of themselves. Jim Sundberg says, discover your uniqueness, then discipline yourself to develop it. Discover your uniqueness, then discipline yourself to develop it. Okay, that fourth question is this. Do you know why you want to do what you'd like to do? So your motives matter in this case. You got to have a why behind doing what you want to do. When you do things for the right reason, it gives you an inner strength when everything goes wrong. So right motives will help you to build your positive relationships because they prevent hidden agendas and incline you to put people ahead of your agenda. So when you put people ahead of your own agenda, then that's going to help you to just keep going. Because honestly, doing the right thing and doing something for other people is very fulfilling in life. It helps your life be less cluttered. It helps your path be clearer. It helps you to sleep better at night. And because you know you're doing the right thing, right? The work that I do, says John Maxwell, is my calling in life. And I really do feel that. I would not have begun Plexus as a full-time network marketer, and I would not have left my teaching career if I didn't believe this was not just something to do, it was a career. It was not just getting out of a job that was killing me. It was moving into something that would bring me the fulfillment and the culmination of all the passions and all the desires I've ever wanted to accomplish in my life that I couldn't accomplish in my own career. That's got to be what we are doing in Plexus. We have to discover what our mission is with this. And it's not just to get people healthy, and it's not just to make more money and get free from whatever things that are binding us. Those are certainly wonderful things to use to get started in Plexus and motivate us when things get hard. But we need to start thinking about a bigger calling, a bigger purpose, especially if you are going to be a jewel. If you plan to be a jewel in Plexus and you want to influence others and you want to change lives, and I mean not just health and some extra financial freedom, I mean you want to really change some lives, then you're going to have to come up with some purposes that are bigger and beyond just yourself. They've got to be outside of yourself. They've got to be involving other people to some extent, in fact, to a great extent. Carl Jung advised, your vision will become clear only when you look inside your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. In other words, he who looks outside of himself is just a dreamer. He who looks inside of himself awakens something. And that is really amazing. Okay, so the last 4 questions define your game plan. Don't forget, the first 4 figured out who you are. The last 4 define your game plan. So number 5, do you know what you can do so that do you know what you do so you can do what you want to do? That's a little bit confusing. So basically, it's a process. It's a process. To move what you're doing now to what you want to do is a process. And there's 4 phases. 4 phases. What are the 4 phases? Awareness, action, accountability, and attraction. So real quick, the 4 phases. Awareness, according to Darren Hardy, is picture where you are in any area of your life right now. Now picture where you want to be, richer, thinner, happier, you name it. And then the first step towards change is awareness. If you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to start by becoming aware of the choices that lead you away. What are the choices that you're making every day that lead you away from your desired destination? Become very conscious of every choice that you make today so you can begin to make smarter choices to move forward. And what he suggests, John Maxwell eventually says to do is write out what steps you need to take to go where you desire to go, to do what you want to do, okay? Write out the steps. Write out the steps that you need to take to where you desire to go, to do what you want to do. Like, for example, my desire, one of them, I have several. I want to do something that's involving teenagers. And that's going to, lots of teenagers, like a recreational center. I haven't really nailed it down. I'm still asking God to show me some different things that I want to do when I really am making the kind of money where I don't have to look at my checkbook before I can invest in some people's lives. And really, I can't do that on a small basis right now, but I want to be able to do that on a big basis. I want to really help teenagers that don't have a sense of home, that aren't fulfilled. And I'm asking God to show me. And so if I were wanting to do that, I would need to, first of all, define what it is I want to do. I can't just say, well, something with teenagers. I'm going to have to really think about that and get something specific down on paper. And then I'm going to have to do, okay, so what do I have to do first in order to start accomplishing that? Well, I need to have the money. I need to have the resources. The next thing is I need to meet some folks and go find out who it is I need to come in contact with in order to have some sort of idea of some things that we could get done. In other words, who has some resources that could help me out a little bit? Basically networking. There's steps that you would need to take to accomplish your objective, and you've got to write those things out. Another one would be, I actually have just recently realized I want to train people, like more than just train Plexus. I want to train in Maxwell principles. And I know that's a big, lofty idea. There's a lot of Maxwell trainers, believe it or not, and you can become certified. So the first step would be becoming a certified Maxwell trainer. And then, whatever else is recommended by the Maxwell training, the different steps that I would have to go through. So you have to write this stuff down, and you have to give yourself a time frame of when you think you could get it finished, and you have to have some sort of an idea where you're going. Action, making it happen. That's the second phase. Basically create the circumstances that you want. You can't win if you don't begin. You got to take some initiative, and it means doing something specific every day that's going to take you a step closer to your goal. Les Brown is always talking about that, in the fact that you have to do something every single day that's bringing you closer to your dream. If you're not spending time doing something, literally taking action in the direction of your dreams on a daily basis, how do you ever expect to get there? It's certainly not going to happen by osmosis or by some thing that's just going to actually happen to you. It only happens by you making it so. Accountability is phase 3. So what are some ways that you can be held accountable? Make your goals public. I just did that in sort of a way. I just kind of told you some of my goals here. Request that specific individuals ask you about your progress. So now having other people ask you about your progress, write things down in a form of accountability. That is huge. In fact, that's the no-brainer first thing that you're going to do is you're going to write down your goals. And for me, my biggest place is I walk in my bathroom 15,000 times a day. So, well, not that many, but you know what I mean. I walk in my bathroom all the time, especially now that I live at home and work at home. And even if I taught all day long, I still am going to go in my bathroom a lot when I come home. I'm going to walk in and out of my bathroom. So where do I put my goals? On my bathroom mirror, because I'm going to look in the mirror a lot. It's just normal. It's a human thing. You look in the mirror when you're in the bathroom. Well, there's your goals facing you. Ame Darling talked about taking that big dry erase marker and writing all over your bathroom mirror your 3 biggest things you're trying to work on right now, and some philosophy, some mission statement that really motivates you. I can't tell you that enough. You got to write down your goals. So somebody to keep you accountable, writing them down, make them public. Keep around, this is another good one. Darren Hardy suggests taking a little small notebook planner type thing, a little notepad, and keeping it with you in your purse. If you're a woman, if you're a man, put it in your pocket someplace, and literally write down every day without fail, no exceptions, the things that you're doing every single day that are taking you towards your dreams. What are some of the things that you've done today that are taking you towards your dreams? And when you start writing them down, it becomes very, very evident that you're working on your dream. It's really amazing. And then finally, when you're doing phase 1, 2, and 3, which is action, accountability, and what's the first one? Awareness, action, and accountability. When you're doing those 3, automatically phase 4 just happens, attraction. So now you're going to attract the right people that are going to come into alignment with what you're wanting to do. You're going to have a positive side of effect. You're going to just start attracting like-minded people. And that's the law of magnetism, which is in one of the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, the laws of magnetism. Who you are is who you attract. Who you are as a person is who you attract. Are you self-aware? Are you taking action? Are you holding yourself accountable? If you're doing those 3, you are going to attract people. So you want to be around growing people, people that are growing themselves. If you are committed, you're going to attract others who are committed. If you're growing, you're going to attract others who are growing. And this puts in you a position to begin building a community of like-minded people who can help one another succeed. Isn't that the most amazing thing? And that is the truth that happens. Okay, number 6, do you know people who do what you like to do? Basically, start finding some people that you can have as mentors, people that have gone ahead of you, gone before you, that you can mold and shape your passions after them. John Maxwell talks about a lot of the people that were his mentors never actually spoke to him in real life, but they wrote books. And he learned from his mentors by reading their books. And some of them he read over and over again. So my thing that I wrote down in the side margin here is if you need to learn from books. And if you don't like to read, you need to just get over it. If it's not your favorite thing to do, you're going to have to gain some knowledge and some perspective and some wisdom and some ideas from books, because these are people that have gone ahead of you and they have actually succeeded in their endeavors. And you cannot go in the direction of your dreams if you can't find someone who's already achieved them. You have to find some people that have already gone in front of you. You can't just pave your own way and reinvent the wheel. I mean, most people do actually reinvent the wheel a little bit when they're going down the road because they're reinventing themselves. They're becoming this new person. But ideally, you want to find a person who's gone ahead of you, that you can kind of mold yourself after, that you can look to as an example, a person who's a guide. So get committed, be consistent, be creative, be purposeful, be reflective, and be grateful. So pay people for their time. If you have to meet with someone that's going to mentor you, pay for their time. Be consistent, meet purposefully every month with somebody who's going to teach you. Be creative, start with their books if you can't meet with them in person. Be purposeful, spend 2 hours in preparation for every 1 hour of your interaction with them. Be reflective, spend 2 hours in reflection for every 1 hour of interaction. And then be grateful. And let me stop on reflection. A lot of people don't reflect on anything. Spend 2 hours in reflection for every 1 hour of interaction. You know, that's kind of like a college principle. Since when did we stop doing that? Have you heard that back in the university? When you go to 1 hour worth of class, you need to spend 2 hours inside in a study somewhere studying the concepts. I think that holds true when you're dealing with mentorship and you have someone that that is mentoring your whole process, that you're seeking guidance from. You need to be reflective. Be grateful. Those people are gifts in your personal growth, so be sure to let them know. And always remember that you cannot get to where you want to go on your own. You can't do it on your own. You got to have people that have gone ahead of you and forged the path. Number 7, have you found a mentor? Have you found one? Okay. So sometimes you're going to get the opportunity to be mentored by a real live person. And when you do, it gives you some guidelines of the things that you're responsible for. Okay. So you got to be teachable, coachable, always be prepared for the time with your mentor. Set the agenda by asking him or her some really great questions. Demonstrate how you've learned from your time together and be accountable for what you've learned. And if you're the mentor, you have responsibilities too. Your number one responsibility as a mentor is to add value to the other person. You've got to get that down. Number one responsibility as a mentor is you're adding value to the other person. In what ways? You focus on strengths, temperament, track record, passion, choices, advice, support, resources, people, resources as in people, game plan, feedback, and encouragement. So those are the things you're going to talk about mostly when you're mentoring somebody. I personally love to mentor people who do just, I have directed them to do. When I get on the phone with someone, when I meet with someone, when I'm Zooming with somebody, and I say, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to do this, 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 and this. When you do this, the very next thing is you do this. When that's done, here's the very next thing you're going to do. And then let me know, because I'm going to get involved and we're going to do this, this, and this. And the minute they start to do exactly like I have told them to do, it's incredible how success starts to happen. And they will see that is exactly what happens. Most of the time I'm talking about 3-way calls, posting on Facebook, getting your person that's interested, once you post in a three-way chat, on a three-way Zoom, let's get them signed up. I cannot tell you how many people I have signed up in the last 2 weeks who have followed my directions. These are not my personal level ones. These are people on my team who have gotten me in three-way chats and then on three-way calls, and then we just sign them up. Literally right there on the call, or right after that, they get off and they sign up with their sponsor. I mean, I'm not kidding. It is amazing how that happens. Third-party validation. So I've got off on the track, but I just want to talk about that. So be coachable. Do what your mentor is asking you to do. The only one that's standing in your way to your success is you. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. This is number 8. Will you pay the price to do what you want to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? James Thom, which is an author and educator, said probably the most honest self-made man ever was the one that we heard say, quote, I got to the top the hard way, fighting my own laziness and my ignorance every step of the way. Isn't that the truth? Your own laziness and ignorance. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to be honest with you. Everybody's human. I'm human too. And yes, I get lazy. And yes, that leads to procrastination. And then when I think it all starts with a little bit of fear, which leads to procrastination, which as a result leads to laziness. I think it's fear, which goes to procrastination, which turns out it's in laziness. And then you're in like a downfall and you don't know where to go. You don't even know what to do to get started again. That is the ditch that most of us fall into. So you've got to admit it, that you're the person that's in the way to your own success. You've got to look at it that way and realize that. And then he quotes a big thing about dreaming big and following your dreams. You have to have big dreams and you have to be willing to sacrifice, okay? Things that are worth doing seldom, if ever, come easy. They're not going to come easy. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. It's going to be the most incredible thing you've ever done, but it's going to be the hardest thing. And you have to be able to count the cost. Are you willing to count the cost? It's going to cost you. Will you pay? Will you work hard? That's the question. Will you make the sacrifices required? Will you keep learning and growing and changing? Are you willing to pay the price? And then most people aren't, guys. Most people aren't. And it doesn't matter what level we're talking about. It could be a new customer that just doesn't want to drink their water. They don't want to do it. And so they say the products don't work and they quit. I mean, I can't tell you, okay, I've got a person who's got migraines and they don't seem to go away. And then they've got these, cold sweats and they're not drinking their water. Well, they say they are. No, they're not. They're not drinking their water. It's always that. I got off track. But what I'm saying is that it starts with little things. People just don't want to change. They're so used to doing what they're doing and they want the results, but they're not willing to do what it takes to get there. People that have been in Plexus for 1.5 years have shown up to some of our meetings and even had some massive miraculous changes on the products. And then they just give up on the business because it's too hard for them. They just don't see themselves getting anywhere. There's no traction, but they're not putting in the work and the effort that it takes to grow themselves, to become a better version of themselves. And they're just comfortable where they're at, so they think they'll just stay there. Let me tell you the next thing that happens right after that. You ready? Here's the thing that happens. They'll be off the products eventually. I'm not kidding. So here's a person who's had a life-changing situation with the products, right? All kinds of weight loss, health accomplishments. They've been in, they've tried the business, they've done whatever they could, but yet they've not done enough, obviously. They've not dug in enough. They've not been coachable. They've not done exactly what they should have been doing. And then they all of a sudden decide that if the work is too hard, they don't want to do it. And so they give up on the business, but they say, I'll still do the products. Yeah, not for very long. Give them about 6 months or even less. They'll say, well, this is not even worth it. Why am I even spending my time on this? There's other things over here I could be doing. I'm sure I could just work out and eat right and just do the same thing that these products are doing. Trust me, it's all about mindset. That is the truth. I don't know why I got off on that, but people are just not willing to sacrifice. My question is, are you willing to sacrifice? You've got to decide what you're willing to give up. Some sleep, time with the family, Weekend time, getting up extra early, staying up extra late. You know, you've got to decide what you're willing to give up. I certainly had to do that, and I still do it. When can you start doing what you'd like to do? So you've got to decide, well, necessity is the mother of invention. Did you know that? When you're desperate enough, you're going to do something. Why not do it now? Well, because you're not ready? Perhaps you're not. But if you wait till you are, you never will do it. Most of the accomplishments John says that I've achieved in my life I began to attempt before I was really ready. You can't wait till you're ready to start doing what you want to do. Okay? You just start figuring it out as you go. You just get started. Start figuring it out as you go. And then number 10, what will it be like when you get to do what you want to do? It will be different from what you've imagined. You imagine it's going to be a certain way. It's going to be a way different than that. John said he never imagined that he would affect so many people as he does. He never imagined that. He never knew that his life would be so beautiful. And that he would want to occasionally withdraw from people so that he could go and think and write. I mean, he didn't expect that of himself. He didn't think he would ever do that. He never anticipated the expectations others would put on him to produce. He just didn't imagine those expectations there. When you do what you want to do, it will be more difficult than you ever imagined. It will, okay? There's just no doubting about that. It's going to be the most difficult thing you've ever done. How much time would it take to be effective? You're not going to be able to gauge how much time it's going to take for you to be effective in this new position that you're going to try to achieve. These great demands put so much on your life, and you have to keep paying the price. You can't stop paying the price and you just finally arrived. You got to keep paying the price. And he's also talked about how his energy level has gone down so much in the recent years, and that has really, really upset him. So he's given some examples for what you just can't imagine what it's going to be like when you actually do reach the pinnacle. You think it's going to be all a bed of roses, and it will be in a lot of respects, but you just have no idea what kind of toll it's going to take on you to get there. And here's some of the good things, though. The compounding return. He never imagined that it would be so good as what's happening to him. So he's seen so many people's lives change that he never even imagined would happen, and that it would be so much fun, and that the return on what the time he gave is just like multiplied. There's such a huge return. In other words, he's fulfilled inside beyond what he could ever even imagine. I'm just going to skip the thing about Martin Luther King. I'm going to skip the thing about Martin Luther King Jr. There are two great days in a person's life: the day you were born and the day you discover your why. You've got to know why you do what you do. People say there are two great days in a person's life: the day you're born and the day you discover why. I want to encourage you, says John Maxwell, to seek what you were put on this earth to do, then pursue it with all your effort. And here we are. Oh my word, can you believe it? I'm going to get on to the gallery. I'm going to unmute. I actually did it. Thank you, God.
Yeah, they're coming in.
Okay. Wow, we got 12 people here.
You have to talk. Okay, let me
Okay, so I have a question. What do you want to do? What talents, skills, and opportunities do you possess in your desire to do it? So think of one thing you want to do. Think of one thing you really want to do in your life. Think of it. So get it in your head right now. You have it? You have that thing in your head. Okay, now think about the talents, the skills, and the opportunities that you possess that support your desire to do it. Think about those. Also, contemplate some of the motives that you have for wanting to do it. Why do you want to do this? Okay, and then what are some steps that you must take to start doing what you want to do regarding awareness and action and accountability? What are some of the steps? And then whose advice can you get to help you along the way? And what price are you willing to pay? What's it going to cost you in time, resources, and sacrifices? And where do you need most to grow? Now that's 7 questions. And I'm going to ask that each of you that wants to share, go ahead and share on those 7. Go ahead. Let's have somebody. I'm not going to go around question 1, question 2. I want one person to tell me all 7. And let's try to keep it at 2 minutes if you can, or 3. Whoever wants to share.
All right, I'll share.
Let's hear it.
It's Susie. How's everyone?
Hey,
Susie.
So I guess I've kind of been on a journey for since I joined Plexus, and I've already kind of made some of these changes with the realization of what I really want to do. And I think what was very poignant in this book was aligning yourself with an organization of what is that organization doing, and if it's not meshing, then it's never going to work out. And I think I finally realized that, and that kind of gave me the strength and courage to leave what I was doing and do something else. Number one, it wasn't easy, and it happened throughout time, but it can happen if your desire is strong enough. So I guess what would I like to do? I would like to be a professional network marketer. Honestly, realizing that I'm not a salesperson, but I am a very good networker of people, and to have the belief and passion in Plexus has put all the pieces together. So I'll go through these questions, Suzanne, that are in the book. Is that what we're going through, the last page of the chapter? What talents and skills and opportunities for my desire? Well, the opportunity is Plexus, and the other opportunities are these book clubs we do and what the organization has to offer. My motives for wanting to do this is because I love doing it and I have a passion for it, and my motive is to help people develop themselves and maybe to not live in fear like I was living in fear, and to get healthy. So that's my motive. What steps am I doing? I think I've done a lot of those. My awareness, I took action, and now I'm working on holding myself accountable to all of these big goals that I've made. The other thing is, I think that, Suzanne, I found you to be a tremendous mentor. And when you tell me that I really should do something, I don't think twice. I just kind of jump in and do it. And it's been scary, but I've done it. That time you told me I need to go to Oklahoma to see Sonia Dudley do a training, I jumped on board and went there. I'm going to go do masterminds for network marketing, and I'm not even sure if I'm really qualified to do that.
You are, dear.
Well, I'm going to be in around people that, I might feel a little out of my comfort zone, believe it or not. It also required that I invested money to do it, and I'm in the middle of changing a career, and I just decided I'm not going to live in fear anymore, and jumped right in. So I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that I'm still not a little apprehensive sometimes, but I do say that there is hope for people that are maybe nervous or scared about doing what they really want to do. Take it from a 55-year-old woman who has probably been living a career that I've never really been fully passionate about. And for all of you who are much younger, this is like, I wish I had this presented to me when I was in my 20s or 30s, because I can't say woulda, coulda, shoulda anymore. This is the way it's all unfolded for me. But I am so happy that it has, and it's all about timing. And I think I was in the, I'm ready for all of these changes. And that's kind of my story. I'm sorry I keep babbling on about that, but I really like this chapter because I think I've become fully aware of what I want to do, and as much as what I want to do, what I don't want to do, and how I don't want to live, which sometimes is more of the motivator than all the yes. So.
Oh, I so agree with you. Preach it, girl. Preach it.
Yeah.
Preach it. Preach it. Yes. Yes.
And I'm not saying it's been easy, and I'm not saying that I still have a ton to learn, but I have this sense of freedom that it doesn't matter. I know God's going to help me along the way as long as I focus on loving what I do and giving to other people and using my talents in a way that I feel good about, and aligning myself with the right people and the right organization.
Amen. Amen. Awesome, Susie. That's great. Okay, so who wants to go? Who wants to talk? I want to hear it.
I will.
Awesome.
I will. So what do I want to do? I want to be home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do.
To do what? With your children? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. But you know my why.
Yes, I do. Right.
Sorry.
It's okay. I get it. You don't have to expound here. It's being recorded, by the way, so I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we know what. Yeah.
What talents, skills, and opportunities. Well, I'm growing. So everything that you would consider a talent, a skill, opportunity, I'm taking advantage of, and I'm growing and developing skills that I already have. I'm growing those skills that I'm lacking. I'm growing those skills. And do I have the desire to do it? Of course I do. What are my motives? I want to, like I said, I want to be home with my children, financial opportunity, freedom, that, and also I found, along the way that I'm enjoying helping people, and I'm enjoying the personal growth that is going along with it, so that I can become the leader that I want to be, because I've also found that I want to be a leader, not that I'm not already, but I'm growing in the areas that I need to grow to become the kind of leader that I want to be. And I guess that goes along with what steps what steps am I taking, because personal growth is what needs to happen. Whose advice can you get to help you along the way? Well, you're my mentor. And I think, just the whole plexus, the whole relationship, I'm finding other mentors, but my main mentor, of course, is you, Suzanne, and, I'm just learning and growing, and I'm enjoying it. What price am I willing to pay? Well, I take time, I put in my nooks and crannies and do what I can, and I've had to rearrange some schedules and do some things and put time in where I didn't think I had time, make time, carve out time, as well as, put time and also investment in, like, going to convention and things that help me grow, right, and spread my network. And where do I most need to grow? just leadership skills. You know, and just growing the skills that I already do have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just that kind of those kind of growths.
I think what you're doing, and I'll just comment here, is you're focusing on your strengths. Is what John Maxwell always suggests that we do, is to focus on our strengths and not our weaknesses. And you, my dear, are doing that in monumental things. I'm always making sure that you stay focused on your strengths instead of getting down about some of the things that you struggle with. And when you focus on your strengths, which is you love to connect to people, you love to provide for their needs, you love to help others, you love to just dig in there and find out what's wrong with them so you can provide a solution. You know, as you just continue to do that, and you will succeed. I'm just so proud of you. You've grown leaps and bounds since you began Plexus. I have seen it. If you take a look and an inventory at where you started and where you are now as a person, you are a different person today, Lori. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
And I feel it. And I like it.
I'm glad to hear that you're saying that you feel it, because that's confidence speaking, and that is belief in yourself. And I love to hear that. I'd love to hear some other people that have not shared yet, that have never talked on the Hangout. I'd love to hear you talk about this stuff.
Absolutely.
I can go.
I'll go next.
Okay, Susan.
Karen or Susan?
Go ahead, Susan, you're good.
Okay. What would I like to do? I would like to get very good at this Plexus networking, marketing. My talent, skills, and opportunities that I possess right now, the opportunities, one of them is you and this, and listening to everybody else, what they're saying, what they're sharing, what they do. I need to get better. I need more practice at that. I am getting better. Coming up with, I love to help people. And I love to help people be better, in whatever it is, whether it's health, whether it's, talking to people. And I've had the opportunity my whole life to be able to do that. So it's wonderful. This is totally different. And I've got to learn this business, and I've got to learn the way to do it. My motives are actually, I want to move to Florida and be by my daughter and my grandbabies, and be able to financially do that and independently, work from home and have the freedom, financial and time-wise. What I liked about this chapter, with the awareness, the action, and the accountability, the awareness really made me look at myself as far as the areas that I do need to improve on. And part of it is I'm kind of an introvert, so I need to get myself out there more. Accountability, I probably need to be better than that, or better at that. The action, I'm constantly reaching out to people. I'm doing things like this. I'm reading books on how to talk to people. And let's see, and right now I'm probably willing to pay just about anything. I mean, I'll pay for the classes. I'll pay for conferences. The time-wise, I've been staying up late at night and trying to get stuff in, listening to some of the presentations. And where I need to grow most is being the introvert. I need to get out. I'm very comfortable being alone, and I wanted to be an accountant. I'm not, but that's what I wanted to be. So I just need to work on getting myself back out there. And approach people.
Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome. Yay, Susan.
Thank you.
Lovely to hear all that. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yay. Who else wants to go? Let's hear.
I'll go.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I want to grow as a person and a leader. I want it for people to be attracted to me and believe in me. I feel if I can grow, I will influence people, and then I will be able to grow my team. I am willing to devote time for personal growth. I love to be challenged, and I have been given so many opportunities by you, Suzanne. You're pouring your heart and soul into us. I learn from inspirational videos, book studies, and you encouraging us. And I'm just so blessed for that. My motives, my family, and the wanting to be able to help them, whether it be, financially or just, we've been blessed by the health-wise already, so that's not a problem. I also I like seeing so many people benefiting from these products, so that motivates me and encourages me to want to help people more. I'm aware of where I want to be, and in the next couple of years, and I've written down my goals, and I do let my friends and family know them as well, so that they can encourage me and ask me how I'm doing with it. And I do get asked that quite often.
Do you want to share them with us?
My goals?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my goal is to be, just as I say, become a better leader. And then I also want to become gold soon, before the end of the year. And then, work up the steps that way and just grow my team and love on people.
Awesome.
I'm getting advice from the Plexus groups and Perfectly Plexus and Freedom Group, and Blessed, of course, and of course you, Suzanne. And the books. The books are a big help. I'm willing to give up time with my family and friends to go to these trainings and do things, spend money on whatever it takes to get to these opportunities. And let's see, number 7, I need to work on personal confidence in myself and being bold, and just gaining the knowledge of leadership.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who else would like to share? I would love to hear more.
I'm doing a new customer, so I'll share later.
Okay. Anybody else want to go?
Okay, I'll share now.
Okay.
I have boundaries, and I can check with her later. Okay. The law of awareness. I really have a heart for working with military families, especially the ones that are deployed, because I've been in the military whole life. But that's gonna be later, but because Plexus is what my priority is to work on, but the parallels and what I would need to do to get there are the same. And I am definitely growing way more than I thought I would. I thought I had things that I possessed already, and the awareness is that I don't. And I'm super excited about growing in those areas. So I'm learning about what I am good at and what I'm not. A lot of you talked about that, just kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and testing the waters and failing and figuring it out. So I'm doing that. And I want to do it because I do like helping people, and I have some experiences that I can add to the value of other people's lives. I'm not there yet, but I'm super excited to grow finally, putting my feet in the water. And my action is doing what I'm doing here, getting more involved in the books, and the chat groups with people, the videos that I'm watching, the sacrifices. Those are hard for me, but I really am doing them. And it's tough, but I'm doing it. And I want to be more of an attractive person, like that people can talk to. So I'm aware of that and trying to work on the qualities and trying to learn how to speak and how to talk to people and being approachable like that. So I am just excited to grow all together, and excited that Christine has continued to stay with me, has been my mentor. So she's one of those people that I'm choosing to take on as who's already been ahead before where I don't have to reinvent the wheel, just myself. So that's what I'm working on with her, and I thank you so much for that. So those are some highlights, just so I don't ramble. But I just, in a nutshell, I am, even my husband's like, wow. So it's really cool. And I really appreciate this, and I really am growing, and I hope one day to be successful enough in Plexus to do what I would love to do with the military.
Mm-hmm. Cheryl, do you realize that success is not a destination? Do you realize that?
I did, and I learned that from you.
Okay.
I learned that from you.
Good. You are successful now where you're at, and you will continue to become more successful. I want you to really get that.
I want to reach my goal.
Yes.
I am successful.
Mm-hmm.
I want to reach my goal.
Right. Right. And that's great. But you know that you are successful now where you're at. What does your husband specifically say that he notices about you, the changes that you've made? I want to hear.
Without crying, I don't know.
Hey, we cry on this thing.
I mean, he sees my excitement. He sees my enthusiasm. He hasn't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
He supports me 100%. He knows God. He sees all the affirmations that God is sending me and that I haven't been listening to. And now that I'm listening, there's so much more joy and peace, and it's not as much of a struggle. So personally, our relationship, I mean, this just changes everything. I mean, they say it, and it does. You know, you're successful whether you're a silver for a year, almost, or and then decide to change, or then finally put it in your head. So I guess that's it. The excitement, the affirmation, the self-confidence.
Oh, wow. What a blessing. I'm so proud of you. You are incredible. Do you know that? You really
You know what? I know that.
Good. Yes.
I do know that.
Good.
And I praise my God for staying with me.
Oh my gosh.
Thank
It
you,
is
Susan.
joy to hear you talk like that. Joy, joy.
I'm not
joy.
as timid as I used to be. I'm good. I'm good.
Music to my ears. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. You are a rocket getting ready to take off is what I think.
I am.
You are. I'm so proud of you. Wow. Okay. I'll stay on as long as anyone wants to talk. I'm not going to make anybody talk, but if you want, yeah. See you, Kelly. Who else would like to share? Anybody else want to share?
I'll go. I guess definitely.
Okay, awesome. Yay.
Okay. Definitely want to be doing Plexus. I'm in school. I don't know some of you on here, but I'm in school for dental hygiene, and that's something I've wanted to do forever. But yeah, I'm hoping that I'll do it for nothing and not have to use those skills. So we'll see what happens. But stuff I'm doing to grow is trying to be on all these calls and do these book studies and doing Highway to Emerald. So hoping to do well with that. And, I'm trying to train my team and as much as I can and just trying to learn as much as I can to better myself and, trying to do things to help my team out. And I can't remember all the questions, but
Okay.
I don't know what
sacrifice that you're willing to take. What are your motives? What are you doing to? What are the steps that you're doing to get you in the direction of where you want to go?
Sacrifices. I don't do TV at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I miss TV. But no TV. I don't read any books that I like to read. So
me either.
I'm trying to read, these growth books, but they're not as interesting to me as my paranormal romance stuff. But what else? One day. And,
paranormal romance.
Yeah. And let's see. So I sacrifice, time with my family. That I'm going to be doing stuff. Things like I still have about 3 chapters of homework that I should be doing right now. That I'm rather beyond this. And my motivation is I want to lots of things. You know, I want to help people. I want to go on a legit vacation with my family. I want mainly my big one is I want to retire my husband or have him be able to do something he wants to do. He works really hard, and so I just want him to be able to do something he wants to do and not be miserable, you know. So, and I don't know if I missed any more, but
where do you most need to grow?
Relationships for sure. I need to.
You pegged it, yeah. Yeah, you know yourself. That's good. That's self-awareness. Awesome.
But definitely how to build relationships with people. I'm trying, and I'm trying to read books to try to help me, but you know.
And you're doing it. I mean, just hearing you interact with some of the people that you have on your videos, I mean, you know how to ask some questions and interact with people and connect with people. So I think it's great. You are growing in that area. That's awesome. Thank you, Frankie. Who else would like to share?
I'll share.
Awesome.
What would I like to do? Of course, Plexus. I love it. I'm all in. Talents, skills, and opportunities. I love all of the book clubs and the videos, and I'm constantly educating myself. And I love it, though. I don't even feel like it's a sacrifice because I love digging into all of it. My motives for wanting to do it, to continue working from home. I'm doing it for my family, to be debt-free, to help others. I have lots of reasons, lots of things I want to do with it. The steps, I am totally aware of things that I need to work on as far as relationships and leadership skills, which I continually, I'm in the process of working on that. Getting advice, being in Highway to Emerald, I do appreciate just reading everyone's and learning about everybody else out there and what they're dealing with. And of course, Suzanne, I mean, you're number one.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, this is being recorded. Wait, I'm sorry, but you're number one.
Okay. That's a sweet thing to say.
Couldn't have done it without you. I mean, you just inspire, and the training and just all the time you put into it. I mean, it's just really appreciated. The price I'm willing to pay, sacrificing TV time with my family. But then again, it's not really sacrifice because I really like doing it. And what I said with continuing to grow with relationships, like the follow-up process, and actually, it's like I'm sharing my passion, and I feel like I'm really all in. And it's just that I just need to keep following up with people and keep loving on them, I guess. It's just there's so many people out there I'm working with,
Right. Awesome. I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. Who else wants to go? Anybody else want to go? Angela, you haven't talked. Karen, Miss Bruce, anybody? Okay. Well, we're winding down. Does anyone else want to say anything before we sign off?
I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. We're going to do chapter 3, the law of the mirror. That's coming, and it's a big chapter. Yeah, you gotta. I know Christine talked about in Hawaii, where she said she talked to Ame Darling, and Ame Darling has over 20 years of experience in network marketing. And she said that people have to be willing to look at themselves in the mirror. And that is so true. Oh my gosh. And you've got to realize that who you are is where your paycheck is. You've got to develop yourself if you want a bigger paycheck. And so I think all of you know that here. all of you know that. You're not in any sort of a delusional state. So big chapter, next one. This is all amazing self-discovery. I'm learning so much going through it with you, and I love that we had some time to talk at the end. I certainly don't want to be taking over the whole thing. That there's a time for that with the Millionaire by Halftime, but this is a lot more self-discovery. So anyway, I love y'all so much. And okay, don't forget, next Tuesday is the Plexus 101. We're going to be doing that. Get all your people invited, get them on that. That's going to be an exciting thing. We're going to finish up the month. And also Monday night, which is tomorrow, Chris McCall and Susie McCall have a little 15-minute exposure that you can actually send out. It's a conference call. I'll go ahead and tag, I'll say something in the comments and I'll bump it up to the front on the news feed. Basically, it's a little link you can send out where they share their testimony and a little bit about the products and the opportunity. And you can literally say, hey, this is a live call. You need to be on this at such and such time. So you can send that out. There's another exposure there so that you can get that done. And let's finish up the month strong. How are we doing on our September? We're doing okay?
Yeah.
Get your 3 and 3?
Mm.
No.
A lot of you gotten 3 ambassadors. I got my 3. I was going to get my 4. Let's see if I can get that 4th one before the end of the week. I'm going to try.
I posted the guessing thing in several sites, and I got a bunch of hits on it.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, when you guess how many Slims are in a jar, is that what you mean? Yeah.
The most I've ever gotten on any other post ever.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
It's incredible how many. Yeah, you want your ideas to get some hits so that you can have some people to follow up with. Yeah. And as Mary, go ahead, Susan.
I just have a question on that because I've tried it and I did it totally wrong. But you do that on the garage sites that are associated with Facebook? Is that the garage sale sites?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know there was such a thing. So I am really learning.
There's training. If you go to my YouTube channel, just go to YouTube and type in Suzanne Shirley, and you'll find my channel. Subscribe to it. Scroll down into the videos, and you'll see an entire video training on garage sales that's there. And then you can go to the team page, go back to the team page, click on the files section, and you'll find the document that we use to train on that video training. So you can download it. You'll have all this stuff at your fingertips. And then there are other posts that I have posted in the files section of the team page about garage sales. Like the most recent one that I got a lot of hits on, I posted it the other day.
I saw that, and then I couldn't find it again.
It's in the files section.
Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah. Mary, do you want to talk about your garage sale experience or no?
Are you the one with the crazy one? Did she get a crazy one?
I had some real unusual people. Yeah. But Suzanne, you don't even know this. At supper time, I got, what was it, a PM, I think, from one of the gals. We talked on the phone tonight for over an hour, and it's quite promising, actually. So I will give you all the details on that when she doesn't have the funds until Friday to join, but she supposedly already has a few people that want to do it with her.
Oh, nice.
A really neat lady.
See how awesome this is? You just sift through all the frogs, kiss them all on the face, and you find the diamond.
She is extremely faith-based. I said, you will fall in love with this company and the camaraderie. And anyway, it was just awesome. We talked for over an hour, so much so that I had a lady coming to buy something from Craigslist at my door, baby equipment thing, and my husband had to deal with it. But he did willingly. So, but yeah, I had, oh my gosh, about 55 hits, I would say.
Oh, wow.
People wanting information. And it was the post Suzanne suggested about, would you like to work from home? I worded it just the way she said.
Stay home with your babies. I'm looking for moms who would like to stay home and work from home with their babies. Yeah,
something like that.
Yes, I got a lot of hits on that one too.
The thing is, if you're going to get 18-year-old moms that don't have 2 cents to rub together, you're going to find, you're going to find all kinds of folks. But when you do, it's amazing how if just one out of there has something promising, it's worth it all, even though it's 10 hours of work or 8 hours of your time, and you feel like you've done nothing and like you've got nowhere, and then all of a sudden one will pop out. So that's,
and you know what this gal told me?
What?
In her little community, and it's in Oklahoma actually, it's Chickasaw or something like that. She told me that people are constantly posting on her buy sell trade page, I believe it was called, who sells the pink drink in the area. We can't find anyone. Does anybody know anyone that sells the pink drink? So she's got an in her community already if she signs up and, truly
Nice.
gets going.
That's cool.
And yeah, so she's excited. Her mom, her daughter, and her sister are both wanting to order. So
well, great. That's just peachy, Mary. I'm so happy for you.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to me vent about that.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Ladies, it's such a pleasure with all of you, and I'll see you next Sunday night. Don't forget this week. And I will also be on giving a video this week before the end. So you know how I always come in and give you a video to train you. Something inspiring. Okay?
Thank you. Good night. Thank you much.
Love all y'all. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.